Before we get into the video, there's a very important announcement I want to make for everyone that is watching this video, and hopefully it can get to as many of you as possible. So thank you guys for your amazing support for the channel up to this point. We are getting very close to 8,000 views. We are very, very close to 900 subscribers, and that is insane to me. When I made this channel, I was just making it for fun, and I was just doing it as a little hobby, and it still is, but it is amazing that you guys are able to give me support. And the announcement that I'm wanting to make is that this channel now has a semi-schedule. So what I am hoping to do is upload every day. Now, that is, obviously, I've been doing that for weeks, and to you guys, it probably doesn't seem like much of a schedule, but sometimes I'm not going to be able to upload every day because of just personal reasons or things getting in the way or motivational difficulties, and sometimes it's just not going to work. Now, with that said, I try to focus on what this channel was made for, which is reviewing. And from now on, the majority of the videos that you are going to see going up on this channel are going to be reviews of either games, particularly music, aka CDs, albums, movies, and television episodes. Now, I would say that out of every 7 videos that I upload, a good 4 to 5 are going to be reviews. Now, that leaves what is left. I have a couple series that are going on, and based on the views that I'm getting, I'm going to continue doing the writing series, which is small little kind of tip guides for what I'm doing with writing and that type of stuff, and giving you my personal advice as a writer. And the second series is obviously the Overwatch Guide series, which we are currently, if you count this episode, 5 episodes in, and it is going great. It's getting great reception. Thank you guys a ton. So I just wanted to let you guys know this, and if you want to see a certain type of video made more than another, be sure to let me know in the comments. I'm still doing shoutouts. That's a big part of this channel, is your guys' inclusion. So like and comment on this video, and you will be in the description of the next video. So without further ado, let's get right into the video. Keep it high, keep it tight. I am Jim Morse Review Guy, back to bring you another video. In this one, we are going to be continuing the Overwatch Guide series, in which I take a hero from Overwatch and give you my tips and advice. I'm a level 651 Silver Portrait player, mid-diamond player, and I've played almost 600 hours of the game. So I feel like I can give you some of my tips for how to play certain heroes better. In this episode, we're going to be, of course, tackling Roadhog. So Roadhog's an interesting one because he went through a period where, for a long time, he was one of the most overpowered heroes in the game. He was able to hook behind everything. His hook glitched a lot. He had incredible self-sustain. He had an incredibly fast-charging ultimate, and he was just overall such a presence. He was as if you gave a character like Reinhardt extra health and made him entirely OP with his damage, gave him an amazing ultimate that charged extremely fast, as well as a heal. It was insane. And so they nerfed him, and he's actually been through quite a bit of changes since then. And Roadhog is still a very, very viable and reliable pick, and a lot of people still use him on Overwatch in competitive. And today I'm just going to go over a couple tips and advice for people that are looking to either pick him up, or if you are a really advanced, like expert Roadhog player, this might not apply to you as much. So let's go ahead and get right into it. So the first tip that I'm going to give is don't be an ult battery. So many Roadhogs that I see will make the supreme mistake of running into the line of fire and taking a bunch of damage and using E to heal up all that damage. And while you are going to be charging your ult supremely quickly if you make that choice, if you choose to be an ult battery, you're also not really considering the fact that you are going to be giving the opponent a lot of ult charge. Whoever hits you is going to be getting a ton of ult charge. And as a Pharah and Junkrat main, I live for Roadhog mains, because even if they're smart, it's hard to not be an ult battery at times because of how big you are, how big of a presence you are, how you're always usually in the front line or flanking. It doesn't matter. Try not to be an ult battery. Even though you will charge your ultimate faster by healing like that, you're going to be constantly feeding the ultimate, charge, at feeding the enemy ultimate charge that you shouldn't be feeding. So the next tip that I'm going to give is be wise with your hooks, but don't wait too long. And basically what I mean by this is I see a lot of hogs that just kind of run around clicking right and left just to attack. And they're hooking, but they're waiting too long. And I see their hook on, like, off cooldown so much. And it's a bit frustrating because, yes, you want to time your hooks. You want to be able to know who to hook, where they're going, predictions and such. But you, at the same time, you don't want to hold on to it long because it is only a 8-second cooldown. So it's like, don't wait that long. It comes up so quickly. The next tip kind of goes in hand with that. Predict where the enemy is going to move. If you see if there is a low McCree and you don't feel like you'll be reliable enough with your right click, and he's kind of far away, but he's close enough for your hook and you know that, and let's say there's a health pack right there. Because there's a very short travel time, if he's here, the health pack's here, fire your hook that right there. And it will give you a higher chance of hitting that McCree, hitting whoever you're trying to hit, and it will help a lot. So the next tip that I'm going to give is combo. Now, so many Roadhogs and so many other people that play different heroes don't understand that Roadhog has a lot of combos at his fingertips. Whether it is a Zarya Graviton Surge, whether it is Ana Nana boosting you, whether it is a Reinhardt Earth Shattering, you can constantly find a very, very reliable way to get eliminations and get a lot of damage done and put a lot of pressure on the enemy if you combine your ultimate with other characters' ultimates. Especially Ana Nana Boost and Zarya's Graviton Surge. So much you will see Zarya's just using their Graviton Surge because they don't feel like they have anyone on their team that can combo with. Maybe they don't have a Genji, maybe they don't have a Hanzo, or maybe they don't have a Pharah or a Diva. And it's interesting because it's a very, very good combo, and it usually will secure kills because if they have an Orisa or a Reinhardt or a Brigitte that is using their ultimate, or a Winston that pops his bubble down inside of the Graviton Surge, you can break through barriers and damage through that, and it's amazing. So be wary of ults, the ult combinations. So the next tip that I'm going to give is know what tanks you work best with. Now, honestly, it's strange because this is a very diverse type of issue and a diverse type of tip, and that is the fact that it depends on the person. It really does, because usually you see Roadhogs work really well with Orisas, with Reinhardts, and the reason for that, or a Winston. But at the same time, I see a lot of Roadhogs that do good with Divas, and you really need to kind of learn how to play around different tanks for combinations that you can do well with. So on attack or defense, Reinhardts and Orisas and Winstons are very, very good because for Reinhardt and Orisa, if they put down their barriers, you can safely use your right click and hook people out of where either the choke is or where you are going towards with a payload, or where you're attacking the objective for, which is more often than not a choke. Every map usually has a choke, and unless it's a capture point, King of the Hill map. And with that said, you can hook people out of that, you can damage reliably out of that, but at the same time with a Winston, when he's constantly diving other heroes on the other side, whether it be a Genji, whether it be a Widowmaker, whether it be a Hanzo, it's good to have a non-shield tank like Roadhog that is big and bulky and takes a lot of damage and is a presence in your front line to be able to strategically place your teammates behind you if they'll stay, and be able to dish out a lot of damage in the front line while your off-tank, if you play double off-tank, will be on the front line if it is a Diva or a Winston, diving the back line, and you can be on the front line doing reliable, consistent damage to the enemy team while protecting your team and not being a shield tank. Whereas you're not just a presence that is there to be a big bulky shield, but you are actually helping your team, because if you have a half dive team, if you don't go for a full-on dive combination team, Roadhog is really good to have on the front line, because he can do a lot of damage if you are going in a 4v6, considering if your Winston, your Genji, or your Tracer, or your Diva, whoever is with Winston, is going forward into the back line, you are going to have a blind spot in your front line that will be very good to have Roadhog there because he counts as multiple different types of hybrid type heroes where he can do damage, he can heal himself, he has sustain, if maybe like a Mercy goes with the Winston and whoever is diving the back line of the opposing team. So the final tip that I'm going to give is use your ultimate to break barriers if you are engaging. Basically, Roadhog's ultimate charges extremely fast. This is a known thing, it charges extremely fast. Now, with that said, you have to be conscious about shields. And if you don't have a person on your team that can actively and consistently spam a Reinhardt or a Risa shield, and what I mean by that is a Junkrat or a Pharah, then you want to be able to use your ultimate to be an engagement tool. You can break a barrier extremely fast and most likely get a kill. And kind of hand in hand with that tip is pin people up against the wall with your ultimate. Let's go over here real quick and I will show you what I mean. Okay, so for whatever reason, there's a big fight here. Your team's here, their team's here, it's a 6v6. If they're coming towards you, obviously if you were right here, this is just an example, you'd try to boop them off the edge. But if this was another map and there was a wall right here, you want to try to pin them up against the wall because they get bumped up and have no way of moving unless they're maybe like a Tracer, a Genji, a Winston, a Moira, someone that can dash away, or a Mei that can block, any of those, or a shield tank. You can put them up against the wall and deal a lot of damage to them that is very consistent and very reliable. So anyways, guys, I could go over a lot more, but obviously besides the basics, other than like know when to use your left click when you're close to people, use your right click when they're far away, practice aim, try to have a low sensitivity. There's a lot of tips I could give beyond that, but I feel like most people will know those basic tips just from playing and experience. So go try out Roadhog. This has been Jay Morris, the review guy. I am signing off saying farewell.